Welcome to the Andi Lynn Show. We're going to be talking about all things health and wellness. If we're talking about it, it's because it's on the table. Take whatever helps you, and this show is indicated to support you and your family's health, to support your vitality, and to support you on your journey to wellness.
Hi, I'm Katie Lindsay. I'm Andi Lynn's creative director. And this is Andrea Leyerle, our CEO, our shining superstar. I'm just going to be asking some questions today to get to know a little bit more about our company, so you guys can sort of, any questions that you may have, you'll probably have it answered here. So to get started, Andrea, you've had a very adventurous career path. What type of roles have you had before?
I've had a variety of roles. Looking back, most of the roles that I had were in customer service or were in sales. So a lot of talking, a lot of education, and a lot of working in different retail outlets. When I was in my early 20s, I worked in a kitchen and an ashram, and that was really not my bag, but I learned how to cook in that kitchen and how to eat. They were vegetarian. So learned how to eat vegetables, and I ate a raw tomato for the very first time when I was 20, at the ashram.
What's a raw tomato?
Just a fresh, a raw tomato, like a fresh tomato.
Like a normal tomato.
Yeah, not ketchup, not spaghetti sauce, a real live tomato.
It's not Prego.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So definitely
At 20?
an experience, 20 years old. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a huge history of overcoming and welcoming vegetables into the future.
Nothing but Prego before that.
So I've worked at a dollar store. I worked at a thrift store, Salvation Army thrift store. I worked at Sears in the hardware department and was sold paint.
May Sears rest in peace.
In the paint department. Sears was a bag, man. That
I used to get clothes there when I was in 5th grade.
Yeah, man.
All my school uniforms.
It was the place to be. And we got perks if we sold. We got commission sales. So everybody walked out with a paintbrush, okay? Everybody walked out with a roller set. It was like, what are you going to sell today? I'm going to sell this paintbrush, And so that was like training ground. After I got married, before I got married, I went to massage therapy school and became a massage therapist. I was always interested in natural health and alternative health and things that were not invasive, just natural, and just not ways to support your health that didn't require invasive measures, you know. Something as simple as rubbing your hand if you get a bobo, or rubbing your feet when they hurt is
just lick it. Just lick your bones. Solution to everything. Just lick your bones.
You're gonna be okay. It's all right. Just a little pat, So did massage therapy for a few years, and then moved to Louisiana from Pennsylvania. And during that time, I was a midwifery assistant. So in Pennsylvania, I would go to home births. Women would have their babies at their house. And so we did Amish and English births and trained with them. So I went to about 100 births, helped a lot of mamas get through the time of pregnancy, and then also kind of what do I do now? This human person just exists and came out of my human person. So it is a life-changing experience, and it's really cool to watch the human body do what it was designed to do. And when we yield and accept the process of that and see the fruit of it and the evidence of it, that it really is just an evidence of creation, we can support that mechanism by the actions that we choose to take, but it really is out of our control, and it's just a beautiful thing. Life, it's a beautiful thing. So moved here, had 2 little kids, and that really wasn't advantageous for like women decide to go into labor they don't decide, but their bodies decide to go into labor at like 3:00 in the morning. So how do you?
I think I'll go into labor right now. It seems like a great time.
Which they're like, how do I go into labor before the weekend? I have plans. And it's like, well, it doesn't really work that way, but you can eat hot sauce and go on bumpy car rides or whatever.
Just hop up and down a couple of times. Let gravity do all the work.
I wish it was that easy, but it's out of our control for sure. And so my husband was in school. He was in college, and then he worked a part-time job. And so we didn't have a lot of money. Like we were on food stamps, and it was fine. I learned how to cook.
Yeah.
And I learned how to be like scrappy and really resourceful, and to clean my whole house with baking soda and vinegar and lemon juice.
Actually, it gets the grime off the oven better than a lot of things. So, I mean,
you really can polish your glass top stove, and it's so cheap. We had and I learned how to make my own bread because flour and yeast was so much less expensive than buying. So sliced bread didn't happen in our house, and when my kids were little,
tastes so much better too.
It was fresh bread, and so I learned how to cook, and in that time was still really pursuing like a natural lifestyle, and we were preppers, we were gardening, and into like living off the land and like getting unplugged from just not.
That's the thing now, though. So it's like, when was this? Like, how long ago was this? Whenever you were doing all that?
I want to say it was 2008. Is when we started kind of looking into.
Yeah, I feel like back then, because I had friends of our family who did the same thing, and I remember everyone was just like, "You're gonna go live in the country, and you're gonna like have goats, and what are you doing?" And then now everyone's just like, "Where can I buy land? Get me out of the city right now, please! Oh my god!" So like, you're the original hipster. You're the OG prepper.
Thank you. It's a victory garden
from get me out of the city right now. The victory garden, from the
50s. And it was encouraged. It was like everyone should have 3 chickens, and everyone should grow their own, food. So the victory garden revisited 70 something years later, it's still just as good and for your body. Work with your hands. And because of that, I did a method of extreme couponing. So I decided to, some people do coupon cutting, brought together 100 of my closest friends and started a food co-op. So we would put our money together and buy flour in like 50-pound bags. So it was the einkorn flour. It was the one that didn't have weird stuff in it. It wasn't bleached, We would buy like medjool dates and organic pecans, and we would buy coconut. Well, this was before like Whole Foods. I think Whole Foods was just being built. I want to say in 2015, maybe it was Whole Foods, 2014, 2015.
No, it was before then.
It was before then?
I used to go with my grandmother.
Was it 2011, 2012?
No, I was in like 4th grade, so this was probably like 2006.
So we had a Whole Foods.
We had a Whole Foods. It was just expensive, and no one knew really. I feel like they didn't know what it was, because I remember it was just a bunch of old people in there shopping. And now it's like trendy to go to Whole Foods because
it is.
Jeffrey Bezos owns it.
It was a thing. Yeah, I think the first time I walked into a Whole Foods was 2011. I just thought it was like a bougie health food store. I didn't really know anything about it. But there wasn't Costco, there wasn't Trader Joe's, there wasn't Sprouts. And so the assumption was all of that stuff was really expensive.
Yeah.
So we would get these 5-gallon buckets of extra virgin coconut oil and divvy it out into quarts.
Yeah, I remember whenever I was growing up too, my mom would buy from co-ops, and I don't know if it was the same one that you did, but we would have like giant bags of dried rosemary and like black pepper. Like she would get all of her spices from there, and it would last like 5 or 6 years. Like I wouldn't be surprised if she still has it, honestly, in her pantry. I really wouldn't be surprised.
So it's just less expensive. And it is that kind of like thinking ahead and being prepared. And then the commitment of like, well, we always have spaghetti on Mondays. So that's what we're going to do is get all of our gear for that. Or we always have tacos on Tuesdays. And so we're just going to get all of our gear for that. You get red beans, you're going to eat them. So that's what we did. So I did that until from, I want to say like 2008, 2009 till 2013. And then started Andi Lynn's, by happenstance in 2011. So, long career path, but all that natural like wellness and customer service people, skills was like woven through there.
Yeah. So like, how'd you land as the CEO of Andi Lynn's? Like, how did that start springing up? Like, tell us the story. Cause like we talked about before Andi Lynn's now, like how do we grow into that?
It was by chance. I didn't start out to be a CEO. It really was, I just wanted to help people. And so I discovered in 2010, I wouldn't have known what an elderberry was if it fell in my lap. I had no idea.
The only reason I knew what elderberries were was from that Monty Python thing where he's like, your father smelled of elderberries and your mother was a hamster or whatever.
Yes.
I always like that joke. That's the first time I ever heard about elderberries. And then I started working for you. I was like, oh, it's like a thing. It's not just a joke.
That's awesome.
Your mother was a hamster and your father smelled of elderberries.
That's fantastic. People send me that. People send me that.
Do you smell like elderberries, Andrea?
Like, yes. I used to tell the kids that's what money smells like. The kids would be in the kitchen all the time. It's like, what are you doing? I'm in the kitchen where I belong, making elderberry syrup. Like this is where, and it actually does smell really good. And
it does smell good.
I don't know if Yankee Candle maybe did an elderberry. If they didn't, they should. It does smell nice.
I don't know. I got the elderberry. It was is it Teaks or what is the Epsom salt people?
Yes.
They have the elderberry like bubble bath, and I got that
for your immune system.
It just smells really good.
Love that marketing aspect.
Well, I felt bad because I was like, I'm giving my money to someone else doing elderberry and not my own boss and my own.
Is this an inspiration?
It's like, Andrea, do you want to start making like bubble bath?
Yes.
Like, should we start doing that?
Yes. Fine salt, elderberry powder, some rose,
do that.
A little bit of
next day.
Yeah, whatever, kava, whatever makes you calm and serene. We'll sell elderberry serenity. That'll be good.
Elderberry serenity. That's like the new
bottle it right now.
Like, where's my notes? Should I be taking notes right now?
Y'all don't hack that because I'll come for you.
Yeah.
So it really was just happenstance. I got really sick, didn't know how to handle it, and had 3 little kids. And when you're a mom and you're sick, kids don't understand. It's like I actually am, I've stayed up all night coughing for the last 4 days. I can barely see, yoga pants in a messy bun and spit up stains on my shirt. That's real life, dude. Just getting through the end of the day,
Some baby poop somewhere.
Yeah, really. And it's true. It's real life and it's okay, because we do what we need to do to get to the end of the day and love our kids. And they're not really concerned if we curled our hair. No. So, serving your family, but it was really, really hard. Yeah. And doing that research and putting in the list of symptoms on Google and being like, what do you take for this? Like natural remedies for this. And everything came up with elderberry syrup. And what is this, thing here? And I had used garlic and like lavender oil and other types of, vitamin C.
Turmeric is apparently like a good one. Did you use turmeric?
I did not use turmeric. Learned about turmeric. Yeah. But I just, all of my remedies and honey and like lemon and all of that just wasn't working. So I chronicled all of this experience on Facebook of like, everyone should feel so bad because I'm so sick and, cry me a river. And then all of the things discovered about elderberry. And so I went to Whole Foods and bought some. Yeah. And that was the first time that I'd ever been to Whole Foods. First time I'd ever bought elderberry syrup. And it changed my sickness, whatever it was that I had, so dramatically, so fast that it was like, okay, this is now an essential part of my pantry.
I need to look into this now. I have to learn more about this. What the heck?
Yeah. And really, I took it personal when I got sick. I felt like it made me feel weak.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, maybe once, but not again.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to have this on hand so that at the very first sign of anything, I'll just drink this and then it's not going to, it's not going to win. It's not.
Right.
And so that's when I'm like, you know what? I can make this. I make everything else. And it was expensive. I needed like 3 bottles of it, but it did help.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm just going to make this. And I told people, listen, if I have any extra, like, I'll just sell it to you. Like, I want to help you, just like helping people get healthy food. It was just a simple transition of like, here's this healthy thing. And if you want some, here it's I think it was like $10 or something. Just give me $10.
I had the plug.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that's really how it started. And, got a booth at the farmer's market and started educating people about just sharing my experience, like as the light went on and the more that I did a deep dive, obviously, like I got a little tweaky about it. And I was like, okay, elderberry, encyclopedia, like let's stack this here and see what's up. So, so elderberry and Andi Lynn became very good friends. And we still, to this day, we've got a relationship. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I will say I'm an elderberry convert. Last night I had elderberry syrup with ginger ale. It's a mocktail. It really it tastes like it should have alcohol in it. It doesn't, but it's.
So how much elderberry, how much ginger ale? Like to this glass, what do you think?
Okay,
this is a 16 ounce.
Solid, like I would say like to here with elderberry syrup. And then
so probably an ounce and a half.
Yeah, ounce and a half, and the rest was ginger ale and a couple ice cubes. And so I think we talked about it before, but elderberry, I thought about this last night. It kind of tastes like a mixture of prune juice and pomegranate juice. That's what I sort of like thought last night when I was drinking it. Mm-hmm. So it's not just prune juicy. It's also a little bit pomegranate-y. So if you like pomegranate, which I do, it's like
yeah, it's worth a shot. Don't be scared of it.
It tastes good. It tastes like juice.
It's not a big deal.
It's not going to kill you. It's actually going to help not kill you.
Yeah, do a new thing.
Yeah, it's fine. Okay. Well, what is your favorite part of your job? What's the best part?
My favorite part of my job is helping people. And the fact that we have the ability now to reach so many people with these products it's nothing short of amazing. Like the fact that we can we've got a little customer base in Illinois and in like Elgin, Illinois, Elgin.
Never heard of that.
We have this customer base there, and we've got a pharmacy that sells through there.
Hello, Elgin, Illinois. How are you today? Y'all can listen to this. Shout out to Elgin, Illinois.
It's super cool. There's an apothecary in Delaware that's owned by a good friend now. Her name's Cindy Collins. She's an herbalist. She makes wellness products specifically for moms and babies. Oh. And so she's nationwide with her products now. She sells products in the Philippines. She's a big deal. And opened an apothecary. So they sell Andi Lynn's there, and they put the pure elderberry syrup in their kombucha, and they have a smoothie recipe. So we're at like Milford, Delaware now. Yesterday we did a presentation for a store in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that really went really well too.
The fact that we can serve so many people, like not only here in Louisiana and South Louisiana in the greater Baton Rouge area, and provide the education and the encouragement, it's empowering as a mom to be like, how can I help my kids when they're sick?
Yeah,
because
other kids too, everywhere too. So
protect your kids from someone else's people, and we know this now, that the crud, the yunk, the funk, it's everywhere.
The goop, the gunk, the crud, criddle.
It's and I think there is a little bit of fear that comes along with that now that maybe we didn't used to have before. Right. So the ability to kind of have that confidence that we're giving something to our kids that it tastes really good, they're not going to fight you to take it, and that it gets results. Elderberry is good all by itself. I don't have to do anything to it. It doesn't need any help. It just is what it is, and it's good, as it is. Right. So that's really my favorite part of helping people of my job. When we first started the business out of the farmer's market, before we were in shelves like in stores, I had friends who would come, and they were like, I don't know, they were like elderberry converts. Like, I'm like this elderberry evangelist. Like, this is going to change your life. You know, it doesn't solve the whole world's problems, but it does definitely help you if you if you get sick. Like, it helps. So they were moms with little kids, and a couple of moms, single moms. They wanted to work. They wanted to make extra money. So they would come and buy stuff from me at the farmer's market, and then they would take their ice chest coolers to their house, and it was like a honor system farmer's market.
Aww.
Yeah.
That's fun.
It was really cool. And they would text their friends like, hey, I got the sauce. Meet you at 2.
It's like, I got the sauce. Come and get it while it's good. I'll be gone real fast.
It would. And they would message me later that day and be like, I sold out. I'm going to come get you more. I'm taking a list of like who's coming to get it. Seriously, put the money under the mat. Like, come and get your stuff. So what's cool now is the fact that we are at a scale in Andi Lynn's where we can continue to help moms and babies. We donate a proceed every month. We donate to an organization. It's called the Life of a Single Mom. That's awesome. So the CEO of that, Jennifer Maggio, she was a single mom, and she started that company just to help other moms out of a place called Healing Place Church. They are now nationwide. She now goes and does conferences. They empower moms. They teach them parenting skills, financing skills, like how to do parenting, how to manage your finances. And then they give them education around like how to do life and how to discover how to be spiritually strong and like how to rely on God and to get out of like a really dark place. You know, it's hard being a single mom. Yeah. And the fact that we can donate to them and help them, it's like a full circle thing. Right. So it's just a really cool, like how many people we get to help. Yeah. It's really cool.
Great. I know. It's a great company. So I want you to brag for a second. It's like it's bragging time, Andrea. What's your highest achievement from Andi Lynn's to date?
So the highest achievement, I think, in Andi Lynn's is the fact that we are now on shelf at Whole Foods. Mm-hmm. You know,
so exciting.
It's like this full circle experience of the first discovery of elderberry was at Whole Foods, and now like how many people are going to Whole Foods for the very first time and asking people like here in Baton Rouge, but Whole Foods all over in the Southwest region now. Right. And they are very helpful. If you go into Whole Foods Whole Body and you ask for something, they really will help you and they know what they're talking about. Yeah. That Andi Lynn's elderberries is sold off of the shelf and that it's being put into the hands of people and that is something that we hear a lot is this is the very first herbal remedy or like plant-based thing. People are, their habit is like going to like a local, like a pharmacy and getting some type of an over-counter medicine that helps their symptoms, right? But it's like this is the first quote-unquote natural thing that they try or the natural thing that they've given to their kids. Right. And it's a super awesome thing. So
yeah, I remember I went into Whole Foods here in Baton Rouge maybe like a month ago maybe, and we were on the display like as soon as you walk in it's just like Andi, I remember I sent you a photo I think and I was like I found this right here. So,
it's front and center.
No, it's really neat.
It's really cool to be able to serve the Baton Rouge community and to serve them in a place where they are going because they are concerned about their health and they want to go to some place that Whole Foods can rely on.
Like skyrocketed whenever start of COVID last year. I remember reading about that. Like everyone was shopping at Whole Foods, and it's really cool to be in there now.
Mm-hmm. The motivation to do things natural.
Yeah. I think that's what a lot of people were like switching to because it was just like it's a new thing.
Mm-hmm.
What can I do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, for real.
So like, how have you handled competition? Like, because I know start of COVID, elderberry syrup. You look at the trend line on Google Trends.
Elderberry syrup became mainstream during COVID, and we'd had our best year ever, and we were slowly building. I mean, from 2016 until 2020, we were slowly building in revenue, but in 2020, we couldn't keep the stores stocked fast enough.
Yeah.
Friends of ours, my family worked. Thank God for a family that can come in and work.
Right.
My kids were older, teenagers, and everybody packed boxes that year. Everybody, friends, they would come in, and I had friends come in and volunteer, and we had this like whole packing station. We would buy out. Our shipping software only let us buy $1,000 worth of USPS postage at a time. So we would run through $1,000 of USPS postage, and then, okay, we're going for tacos. We're going to start again tomorrow.
It's like, we're done for the day, kids. We don't have any more stamps.
And it's like, I never really, I didn't know. Obviously, it's really nice being put at the level of pressure that we did was kind of like, okay, you're going to see what you're made of. Yeah. But because of COVID, yes. And there's a lot of competition right now because elderberry did become mainstream. So all of these national brands, like,
see them in Walmart now.
They're,
don't buy the Walmart stuff. It's not as good, I promise.
Get the real thing.
You gotta get the real thing.
And it's cool because it's like, okay, welcome to left field where, like we've been beating this drum for the last 10 years. So, and so now so many people are empowered. Like, I'm thankful.
Yeah.
Early on, though, in the first, like, after I was only in business for like a year, and there were some people like here, local people.
I see what she's doing. I'm going to copy that.
They did it exactly. They took the stuff that I was making. They took the names that I had created.
Oh, my.
They took the business plan, the model.
Shut that down.
The conversation. Oh, yes, ma'am. There was a girl that used to shop from me, and she knows who she is, and I love her.
Yeah.
From A to Z.
Yeah.
Asked me 150 questions about how do you do your thing, and then sure as sugar.
Oh, no.
Yep. And she quit. She just quit after the last storm, which they all of the ones that did start after that, they have quit. They did quit. Yeah. But I'll tell you, it got to me for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I had to tell myself, because I took it personally.
Yeah,
it was personal.
Oh, it was personal. Wow.
But I did take it personally.
Yeah.
And and I'm like, why would they, but it's like, I don't own elderberries. They grow prolific.
Everywhere.
They grow in weeds, they're everywhere. Yeah. But the thing that I had to tell myself was, other people's successes or failures does not determine your success.
Right. And I think you've been very successful.
Thank you.
Yeah. This has been better than the other ones. So.
It really is.
You're
it's
in
like,
Whole Foods now, baby.
I had to do that. Like, it was a mindset shift of like, put your head down and do your work. So looking back on it, that early on competition was like fuel to the fire.
Like, I'm gonna be better than you. You're gonna come after me? No.
Yeah.
No.
Try and keep up.
Yeah.
and it really was like a driver. It was just a personal driver of like, oh, okay, well, watch this.
Right.
So that's what fueled like having the recipe tested and getting into shelves at Our Daily Bread was the first store, and they're still like our best account. So if you need Our Daily Bread, they'll go in and they'll help you. They make their own bread every day. They make their own like vegetable soup. They'll make you juices and smoothies. It really is the legit like old school from the 70s health food store. It's alive and kicking right across from the new Amazon warehouse that's being built on the location of the Cortina Mall.
Huh.
Yeah. So it all comes full circle. Yeah, but the competition really, it was hard, but it still is now.
Yeah, like how do you handle it now? Like how do we handle it now?
It is. I mean, it's like staying in the game, keeping your head down, and then realizing like this is what like it's kind of like your grandma's sweet potato pie.
Yeah.
Like nobody's going to make it like her.
Right.
And so it's the intention and the heart and the commitment, I think, to tradition Because when we went into manufacturing and recipe testing, the food scientist was like, well, you can just put this thing in here and it's called Prolong and it's called natural flavors and you don't have to put that and it'll make your shelf life last so much longer. And I was like, well, what is it? Yeah. And he's like, oh, it's this vegetable, something derived, something. And he couldn't even really tell me what it was.
Yeah,
and
can't tell you what it is.
No, my customers are going to put that down. Like, that's not what we do. This is the kind of stuff that this is medicine that was like when your great grandma was a baby, this is what medicine looked like. And because we have stuck to that tradition, we have the ability to service people with herbs where if this is the first time that they ever touch an herb or they have an experience with it, it is going to get results because of the quality that we have. And I think people have tried things that are less expensive. They've tried things that are easier to buy, and they go back to Andi Lynn's because of the fact that, because of the quality that we have to offer. And we just keep staying relevant and creating new products, and staying true to the.
We have this whole line of products, so there's a lot more than just elderberry syrup here at Andi Lynn's. So I think it's cool that it's like expanded just beyond that. I mean, some of it does contain elderberry, but it has other benefits.
Yes, so. we've added more berries, more herbs.
All the berries.
We have every berry.
Every berry, which is not all the berries. It's not all of them, but it's
the one ring to rule them all. It's like, why just take elderberry when you can take every berry?
It's like, you want berries? We got the freaking berries.
So we do have the national trademark for every berry as a dietary supplement. That is something that we did submit to for the U.S., the trademark office. So every berry is a thing, and it's an antioxidants. You benefit the elderberry, but you get all of the benefits. Each berry affects your structure and function in a different way. Yeah. So nervous system support, musculoskeletal support, digestive support, supports urinary health. We have tart cherry that supports circulation and gout. Yeah. Bilberry and blueberry support cognitive function.
It helps with energy too, I feel like. There's a lot of B vitamins in it, so isn't there?
Yes.
Yeah, so take it hiking. I live in Tennessee now, and I took it hiking. I was like, it really helps you get up those mountains. Just letting you know. So, do you have any advice for moms that are in the same boat as you are? Just talk about that for a minute.
Yeah.
In the same sort of like where you are in life. Like, do you have any advice?
Yes. I'm a newly single mom as of a year ago, so divorced and living that, taking that full responsibility. I don't know what other people's situation was, but it's definitely it was probably the lowest point of life. Yeah, it's just
really tough.
The plans that you have and all of the dreams that you have were, I felt like I got shot through with a cannon. Yeah. And it was like, all of these accomplishments are there, but I just didn't see myself that way or feel confident to like have to do things on my own. So while continuing to stay faithful with the business, because that is the quality, I think that if you're going to do anything, like be faithful to do it. Right. And the quality that I admire most in people is they've been doing this for 20 years. They've been doing this for 30 years. And whatever they do, there's a stump grinding guy in Livingston, and it's like, that's his bag. Right. He grinds stumps, and everybody knows him. And he does his job, and he's going to be doing it. He's really fit, actually. So he's probably going to be doing it until he's like 80 and 90 years. He might live to be 100. And it's like, what do you do?
Stump grinders are the new firefighter.
I grind stumps, Stay faithful. So it's really staying faithful to the business because, I do work every day, whether or not my attitude it works every day. Just staying faithful. So just some advice for if you are like in the grind or you're going through a really hard time, but you still have to show up for other people is forgive yourself. Just understand you're going to mess stuff up. You're going to do it wrong. There's going to be times where you just can't do it. Right. And so you're not going to meet that expectation. You're not going to perform when you're at your best. You're just not. Mm-hmm. So, forgive yourself and give yourself permission. to mess up, be like, I'm going to do this. It might totally flop. I'm not, it's not an emergency and it's not the end of the world. It's just, if at first you don't succeed, try again, my grandma would say. And the other thing that I would say is, if you are like trying to juggle, being a full-time parent, like being a parent and when you're the only parent, running a business, like running a household, is to try to add like micro changes into your daily routine. And so I would have never wanted to hear this if I was 20, and I would have never wanted to hear it if I was 30 and maybe 35 either. So, but we should listen to old people because they're smart. They have experience. Yeah. So embracing that routine is actually fuel, and there's so much freedom in the routine because the more you automate, the more creative that you can be. So setting yourself up for success, like when you cook, like when you make a pot of soup, when you cook a recipe, you bring all of the ingredients out. You have your recipe sitting there. You get all of your tools. You set everything out. You go through, you make sure all the, and then you start. And like when you start, then you flow because everything is right within reach and it's right there. And so if you automate and keep a structure of a schedule, your brain knows, oh, this is the time we make dinner. Oh, this is the time we answer emails. This is the time that we have sales calls. This is the time that we get the kids up and get them ready for school. This is the time that we read to the kids. And it allows for a more creative flow throughout the day. And you get so much more accomplished because you've already made a decision and you don't have to use brain power to make that decision. So I think, COVID was really an opportunity for so many people to like Marie Kondo their life.
I love Marie Kondo. Throw anything out, it doesn't bring you joy. It's just, you don't want that. You don't need that.
Right?
Yeah. No.
So do you want to help? Like, do you want to help the listeners if we're talking about Marie Kondo and they don't know?
It's like, so Marie Kondo, you can look up, if you have Netflix, look her up on Netflix. She has a Netflix show, and she basically, she goes around cleaning, like helping these people who just have sort of like messy houses and don't know what they're doing. And her motto is like, if it doesn't bring you joy, like throw it out. And I recently, I moved, and that was my thing. If it just didn't need it, just throw it out. It's fine. It doesn't, like, just let go of the sentimental, like some things you can keep, like if it brings you joy, but if it's just like, you just don't need it and it's just going to sit in a closet, like it's just, clean your room.
It's heavy and you have to drag.
It's just, you have to drag it around and you don't need that. It's just added stuff. So I threw out so much stuff. Well, I didn't throw it out. We actually donated it. So somebody will get some use out of it.
It may bring someone joy.
Right, exactly. It just wasn't bringing me any anymore. So.
And really, like, we would hear before 2020, oh, I'm so busy. I have so many things to do. And we would just run ourselves ragged and cram all this stuff into the schedule. And then, March 17th or March 19th or whatever day it was, everything stopped and we couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't do anything.
I think everyone just sort of reset their life during that period. We bought a patio table for our backyard because we didn't have one. And I was like, if I'm going to be home every day, like I'm getting a patio table so I can sit there, because I was still working from home sort of part-time. So it was like, I need to be outside. I can't just be cooped up in my room all day, trying to work. That made all the difference. So, yeah.
And we were able to see like, oh, you actually can live without this.
Yeah. Right.
It's okay that you're not doing it, because you're not allowed.
Yeah.
But, we actually went, how many months without going to a sports event, or how many months without going to the movies.
That's the thing. Is like, I think about it now and I'm like, I don't even know what movies are playing in the movie theater right now. I heard there's a Spider-Man coming out. Aren't there already like 50,000 Spider-Mans?
I don't know. There's a new Ghostbusters movie.
Yeah, you told me about that yesterday. I was like, okay. It's like, I just like, things just like don't even register for me anymore like they did before COVID. I feel like it just sort of changed everything, the way that you think about. It's like my life is 100% online now, like everything. And my life was not like that before. It was very just like, I felt, which it's not a bad thing, but like it just changed completely how I do work. And I mean, I just got so used to doing everything online. Now I feel like I'm left without a limb if I don't have my laptop on me. So like you can argue that's probably a bad thing. But
No. Well, we talked about this like when you were doing some content creation for Andi Lynn's.
Yeah.
And you were telling me about the coffee shop you were working out of.
Yeah. So there's this cute little coffee shop in Chattanooga, is where I live, called Stone Cup Cafe. Shout out to them. And they have this third floor. It's just like this sweeping vista view of the mountain and the city in the background. And I was just sitting there in front of it working, and I was like, I just wanted to start crying. I was like, this is my life now. Like, this is like so far from where I was a few years ago. Like, because like my old job, I was just sitting in an office all day, like little kind of like a broom closet, and there's no windows. And now I'm like a big window. I got a big window on a mountain. So it's like, life's looking up, kid.
Going hiking and
going hiking. Yeah, it's just taking every berry with me. Sitting it by a waterfall and taking product shots. Like you may see that on Instagram. Like,
this is the post Marie Kondoing of Katie's life.
Life is just like so much better now.
This brings me joy.
Yeah, exactly.
So COVID really did that for a lot of people, and it helped. It inspired people to kind of take their fear is a nice motivator. Right. It's a good motivator.
Well, the thing is just like I knew I wanted to move, but like COVID like really just sort of, I'm not going to say it gave me the ability, but now that my life's all online, I can just kind of go wherever, so I feel very blessed in that aspect.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
So, yeah. So anyway, let's bring the conversation back on track.
Well, I mean,
we are on track.
we were talking about just like Marie Kondoing our life and like redoing things. So, I mean, it wasn't.
You redid your life sort of recently too. So you became a health coach, right? You're a certified health coach now. So like, what is that?
So a health coach that's a great question.
Yeah.
So a health coach is someone who comes alongside and provides you some education and some accountability around your unique health goals. Right. So there's a good amount of training that needs to happen in order to be certified. And health coaches do have the opportunity to sit for a national board exam. So in May of 2022 is the first time for an opportunity to be nationally board certified. And we are seeing that by the end of 2022, the beginning of 2023, that a national board certified health coach is going to be like a complementary provider, like a physical therapist or like a specialty health service that they would accept insurance. So it would be whatever your copay is, and you can see a health coach. It's really, I think so that's what a health coach is that we support your specific, unique needs.
So I could come to you and say, hey, I want to drop 30 pounds. Make me do that.
Yes.
Would you help me do that?
Yes.
Okay.
And in a way that
it's like holistic, like mental health, physical health, everything sort of like all in one.
Yes.
Not a doctor, but will help you and could help you get the right doctors and help you be like just you're there kind of person. That's what it is. Yeah.
Yes.
So any questions, come to you and ask, and
yes,
that's what it does. Okay.
So I have collaborative relationships with functional medicine doctors, chiropractors, acupuncture, massage therapy, licensed social worker, adolescent counselors. Let's see, the list goes on, really, nutritionists. So if there is like a specialty thing, if you're coming to me and you have a few different things, like maybe PCOS or maybe a thyroid condition, then I can work together with your care provider to, look at kind of your health history and what your specific goals are, and then provide some complementary services around the authority of a naturopathic doctor or a functional medicine doctor. It's like, what does this look like in real time? Right. Like, okay, so I wake up tomorrow. Now, what do I do? Right. And the model of coaching that I took that isn't a certified health coach, but it's the Erickson model of coaching. So it really is a lot more of a conversation and listening and allowing you space to define your life. Like, what it is that if there was one thing that you could change about your health, what would it be? And then we build in tips, tools, and tricks in how to kind of get you on the road for that. Right. Things that are empowering and things that are realistic, but things that really do improve your quality of life and things that can help you. Right. And I think fear is a really good motivator. 2020 made everybody afraid, and we started thinking about preventative wellness in mass. Yeah. So this is something that everyone can hire a health coach if you're interested in improving your health and you feel like you would like some guidance and some support. The sessions that I offer, you can do it in as short as 3 sessions. Mm-hmm. And then if you want to bring in a longer program, like a 6-week or a 12-week program, then you can build in after that. Right. But 3 45-minute sessions over a 6-week period will absolutely empower you and support you in
Did you introduce people to new products and stuff that they may you may help them and stuff? Do you have because you say you have doctors and stuff, but if people just don't know about something, mm-hmm. I'm assuming you would tell them about it. Go get this from Whole Foods.
Right, absolutely.
Go get some Andi Lynn's elderberry syrup.
And it does start with food.
Right.
Hippocrates said, let food be your medicine and let your medicine be your food. So it does start with food. And that is comes from just the background, but also in health coaching, we learned how to source quality minerals, quality vitamins, quality nutrients, and how those vitamins and minerals and nutrients affect your digestive system, how they affect your brain, how they affect your stress response. A lot of people deal with blood sugar issues. I mean, I think, 1 in 3 people are borderline insulin resistant or they're diabetic. So we can work with this. You're gonna be my health coach, Andrea. Yes. Okay. Yes, right. We can work with this, and it will be fun. Yeah. It might be hard. Yeah. But it's not going to be a burden to you. It's going to be a blessing.
Right. Yeah.
For sure.
So, how do people benefit from that? What would they how does it help?
People benefit because they realize their potential. They realize the fact that you're not stuck in whatever situation that you're in right now. And I'll say this too, I'm not going to talk over your doctor, but if you have a label and they're you have this, that doesn't mean you are that. It just means that exists right now in your body. But you do have the ability to heal. And we know that when you get a bobo, if you cut your hand or you cut your leg or get a bruise, it does heal. The body was designed to heal itself. I believe that God wants us to enjoy life and that he made our bodies with this innate wisdom, and that is something that we learned in health coach training, is that the wisdom of the body, that the body knows, your cells know how to repair, your body knows how to repair itself. And just being educated around that and then being able to track it and say, okay, this is where I started. This is where I am today. This is where I'm going. This is what I've achieved. And as a coach, you have the ability to catch your small wins and eventually building in those habits and building into that lifestyle is empowering, where you can look back 3 months and 6 months and a year from then and see that we know that we have the potential to change and we have the potential to improve, but specifically walking in that hope of it can be better for my family. It can be different, and it doesn't have to be something that is okay, well, I'm just going to roll over and wait until I die now because I have this or because I have that. You can still have a rich, vital, exciting, joyful quality of life in spite of whatever type of a label that you're experiencing, and not negating that it's really, really hard, but absolutely supporting you as you walk through your journey and what you want to achieve for your health.
Right. I mean, it sounds really beneficial. Sounds like something I need.
Everybody needs everybody. I feel like
someone in your corner kind of thing. Yeah, and some people just don't have that, so. Anyway, so what's your favorite herbal medicine right now?
My favorite herbal medicine right now is bee propolis.
Bee propolis. I haven't tried bee propolis. Tell us about bee propolis, please.
So bee propolis, and thank God for honeybees. You know, they make the world go round. They pollinate our vegetables and our fruit. So they got, save the bees. We love the bees. So propolis is like 2% of the consumable products that bees make. And it's this dark, sticky, black, like gooey stuff that they use to seal the holes in their hives. Mm-hmm. They use it to protect their larvae. And it is like, and they put it in the entrance of their beehives, so when they fly in, they wipe their legs and they wipe their wings on propolis. And the idea is that the propolis binds to any type of a foreign pathogen or any type of an invader that might be stuck on the body of the bee, so that the bee doesn't introduce anything that would be harmful to the hive. It gets trapped by propolis. So, yeah, dude.
Same thought about what it does to your body and how it helps you with that. So.
Exactly.
Well, honey's also very good for you.
It surrounds, and it's got like 200 different polyphenols, depending on where the bees are located at any specific time. We love honey. I mean, honey is like one of the, didn't they find honey in Egypt? Like in the pyramid? Yeah.
That's what they used. I think they used it sort of as a glue almost. They mixed it with something or another, like with the pulp or something, and it became don't quote me on that, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure it was, they used it as a glue. They also used it, they mixed it with stuff, and it was like a face moisturizer. So honey's been used for everything.
And they found it, it's a natural preservative.
Yeah.
They found it
That's what they would make wine out of, because it would last so long. Because it was just mead and honey wine was like some of the first wine that was ever produced. I'm kind of a wine snob, I'm sorry. I know that.
And now everyone listening to the Andi Lynn show knows too.
Yeah,
honey,
get
mead.
you some mead. Go to Total Wine in Baton Rouge. I went last night. I bought some mead. I'm really excited about it. It's Viking blood.
It's old school.
It's old school. No, it was I think it's an American thing, but Viking blood mead, they made it in the style of how the Vikings would make it. So it was just that's how you can. Back in the olden days, that's all they didn't drink water, they drank alcohol. So all of these different battles and stuff, because water could carry diseases, so they would drink alcohol. So all these different battles and stuff, they were just drunk. You think about it, it's really funny. Just all these different battles that have stories written about them and stuff. They're just drunk.
It makes sense though when they're standing there with these big horns on the side of their head, and the way and they thought they looked so freaking cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Of course you do. Yeah,
it's a thing. Serious. A little bit of history for you right there.
The history of honey and Vikings.
Cool. I'm gonna give myself some propolis.
So that's really my favorite. That's my favorite remedy right now. Propolis is really high in bioavailable minerals. So when you think about when people come down with something, it does deplete your body of minerals like electrolytes. So your cell wall has an electric field around the cell, and that field is what communicates with other cells. That's how messages get passed back and forth through your cells. That's why electrolytes are so important, is because that's the conductor. That's the internal conductor in your body. So trace minerals, replacing those minerals and staying high in minerals allows for that communication that's going on inside your body on a cellular level to be optimized and to work the way it should to help you in your vitality and in your health. So bee propolis. It doesn't taste awesome, but
it helps you.
Mix it in your elderberry syrup.
There you go. And ginger ale. So did you use bee propolis? How did your family handle COVID? We're almost out of time, so let's talk about that to wrap things up. How did your family handle COVID? Did you use bee propolis? What'd you use? Because did you have COVID?
We all had COVID.
Everybody's had COVID at this point.
We lived to tell about it. Yeah. Thank the good Lord that, that we lived to tell about it. And as an herbalist, I did try all the things. And, and really, maybe maybe if I would have gotten ahead of it, like at the first time that I knew that I was starting to come down with symptoms, it maybe didn't, but I didn't take it seriously enough because I didn't have like any major symptoms. So this is what we ended up doing. And this is what worked for our family. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to talk over your doctor. I don't have that kind of training. You don't have to listen to me. This isn't medical advice. Don't come from, well, actually, like you can come
asterisk.
from.
Like,
no,
we're not doctors. This is not medical advice. What did you take?
Yeah. You know, it's like, and I mean, yeah, we're going to talk about it, you know, because it's important. And we're all, everything's on the table, right. You know, if it's going to help or if it's going to help somebody, it might not be the right thing for you, and that's okay. But if it's going to help somebody, then this is the opportunity to be able to serve.
Right. So what you got?
So ivermectin, baby. And this is the human
version.
This is the human.
Won a Nobel Prize. It really did. Look it up.
Yeah.
So in 2015, I'm not qualified to talk on it, but I know, I think it was 2015, it won the Nobel Prize for, it's like helps with viral infections. I think, I don't know. I'm not the expert on that, but that's what you take. You don't take the horse stuff.
So I hear you saying this is science?
It is science. Yes, that is the science.
Okay, so this is instructions from the Frontline COVID-19 Critical Care Alliance, if you're looking for some backup about what this is about. And this was they have different treatment protocols written here. These are medical doctors. And again, you know, do what you will, but the recommendation says, here's your antiviral, your ivermectin, vitamin D, melatonin, quercetin, vitamin C, zinc. It does say to take honey, and it says curcumin. It says turmeric too.
There you go. So every berry has a lot of that.
You
stuff.
already knew. So this is what I chose.
Quercetin in there, and there's zinc in the little berry, I believe.
Yes. So this is what I chose to use to support it. So it's like with food once a day. And it was a 14-day regimen because it had gotten pretty bad. I kind of let it go. And then I did these trace minerals, and these are just like 2 of these. So this was the zinc and the other like specific minerals, along with bee propolis, along with golden seal, along with elderberry, along with, you know, bone broth and chicken soup, and like taking salt baths. Yeah. And not going anywhere.
Right.
Because I'm grounded because I have COVID. So laying low, you know, right. But this is what worked for me, and this is what worked for my family. I do sell the Everyberry, but that's because it's a high bioavailable delivery system for quercetin. And then our Little Berry does have, let me read the ingredients on here, because you are going to get the quercetin in here from berries. So you're going to get vitamin C, you're going to get propolis, zinc, elderberry, aronia berry. And then we also have bioavailable quercetin from raspberry and blueberry juice, echinacea, and ginger. So great for little kids. And this is kind of the thing that people need right now. So along with whatever your doctor, you know, might prescribe you, or if you go to, you know, there's online pharmacies that, you know, it's a free country. You can do what you want to do, baby. You know, nobody's counting. Well, and it, you know, it doesn't, right. it matters to you. At the end of the day, when you put your head on your pillow at night, you're going to make the best decision for you, for your family's health, and for your vitality. And it doesn't really have to make sense to anyone else. Herbs are the people's medicine, and you don't need anybody else's permission. Right. Do what you think is best and be empowered in that, because we do have wisdom. We have so much more wisdom than we give ourselves credit for. So listening to that inner voice where maybe you're thinking, oh, this is what I want to do for my health right now. This is a choice that I want to say. I'm going to say no to this situation or to this thing on the calendar. Say yes to something else, because this is the best choice for vitality when you are at your best. You know, the mission of Andi Lynn's is to to empower you and to aid you in being fully present in your seat at the table of life. So wherever life invites you, you can be fully present and make those decisions so that you don't miss out on anything. You can show up and be a blessing wherever you go, instead of having to call in and say, you know, I'm still like, I'm missing out because my vitality isn't where it needs to be. You know, be empowered to be there.
On that note, I think this was a great podcast. Thank you for listening in. Thanks for being here, Andrea. Thanks for being here, me. Have a good day, y'all.
You did a great job.